You're saying you're our daughter?
From the future. Yep, kind of stuck here now. Anybody know what to do? I made a big mistake.
This man is hiding in the shadows.
You guys beat him. At least you were supposed to.
Because the timeline changed. I need to know, in the future, what happens to me.
So, anybody know what to do?
This is so weird.
God, I love this place. I can't believe that's our daughter up there.
Nora shouldn't be here. She could Marty McFly herself out of existence. She needs to be with her parents 30 years from now, not us now.
The Flash. All new episodes Tuesday, October 9th on the CW.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We got a whole bunch of new Flash footage, and they finally revealed exactly what happened because of Nora's mistake. So now we have a clearer picture for what she changed. So we got to break it down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's a new Flash ring giveaway. I've also got details about when we're going to get episode 1 of Titans and new trailers that are going to be dropping at New York Comic Con, so I'll explain that at the end of the video. So the big thing here is that they confirm Nora changed the past multiple times, causing the timeline to shift in Cicada's favor, whereas previously he was either a villain of the week or he was one of the more minor villains. They rolled right past him on their way to this Crisis on Infinite Earths moment in the future newspaper. We see them in the Time Vault. Nora has a mobile version of Gideon that glows purple that looks a little bit like the one that the Reverse Flash had when he first came back to try and find out what time Barry was from during Season 2. That was like Season 2, Episode 10. So she has like a mobile emitter that seems like it will eventually evolve into that version of Gideon. Because, remember, Barry is the person that creates Gideon, so I'm assuming that it's just evolved a little bit by the time it's gotten to Nora's time period. The look on his face when she gives him the flash ring too, he's a little confused because he's kind of excited in the moment, like, oh wow, you have a spare suit that I can wear. And obviously it turns out to be the Season 1 suit. But the funny thing too is that also reminds Barry of Reverse Flash's costume ring. So just remember that all the stuff that the Reverse Flash uses, the costume ring, the mobile Gideon, it's all derived from stuff that he got from Barry's tech that's left over in his time period. He makes it much more advanced, but it's all original stuff that Barry used at one time during the future. It's just that our version of Barry hasn't got to the point where he's created that stuff yet. Cisco's really the person that creates a lot of that tech because he's the engineer, so he helps come up with it. That might have something to do with his arc this season, but we might not get into that too much in the first couple of episodes, so we'll just have to wait and see about that. But you get a little bit of voiceover dialogue from the new version of Harrison Wells, who we've actually seen on set. I believe that everyone's calling this Sherlock Wells. I think that's what Tom Cavanaugh said at Comic-Con. But he's got this vest on, he's got that slightly different haircut, so I think that his storyline is going to dovetail more with Elongated Man's, because they said that this season he would be more of a detective. So like he was a private eye when we first met him during Season 4, he's going to go back to doing that during Season 5. So he says Cicada has been hiding in the shadows. Then you literally see Cicada in the shadows of all these different disaster sites. One of them in the airplane that we see crashing earlier in the trailer. That's going to be that big action scene from the first episode with Wally. No idea if Wally's in episode 2 or if he leaves at the end of episode 1. He's only supposed to be in 3 or 4 episodes this season, so he might be around for the first 2 or 3 episodes before he leaves. You get a brief look at Cicada's face without the mask on. Remember, it's Chris Klein from the American Pie series, so you're definitely familiar with him if you don't immediately remember his face when you hear his name. You get a much more well-lit version of that deleted scene from the Season 4 finale where you see the lightning bolt dagger get charged with what looks like Speed Force dark matter. That probably has something to do with the satellite save and the dark matter explosion that the Thinker was trying to set off around the Earth. The whole idea behind her mistake is that, yeah, breaking the satellite apart is part of that. That might be what helps supercharge Cicada's powers with this dagger. But remember, he would have been a villain no matter what. So at some point, he would have gotten this dagger. So that might be what happened in this moment when Nora helped destroy this satellite, is it just sped up the process of Cicada getting more powerful. It is no coincidence that you see the remnants of his dead child or children here around the dagger, and then they cut to the picture of Team Flash that Nora's looking at from Season 1. Like, his family is dead and Barry's family is still alive. So just meant to remind you why it is Cicada is doing what he's doing. He's motivated by his dead children. He hates all metas, the evil metas, because they caused whatever accident it was that led to his children dying, but also probably just hates Barry and Team Flash in general for existing, leading to that sort of escalation. Remember, the particle accelerator explosion in season 1 is what created all these metas that then went on to cause all these disasters that the Flash had to stop. So remember when Blackout during season 1 wanted to kill Harrison Wells, who was still secretly Reverse Flash, because he caused the explosion that led to the deaths of all the people that he cared about? It's the same kind of thing with Cicada. And then, of course, Barry asked the question of all questions, the one that you're never supposed to ask. What happens to me in the future? Probably a reference to what happens with Cicada in the immediate future, because Nora's like, well, you guys were supposed to beat him, and apparently he beats you guys now because of what I changed. And it's also a reference to the future newspaper, Flash Vanishes in Crisis. What happens to me? Why do I disappear? Why have I been staring at this newspaper for the past 5 years? The thing about that future newspaper is that it's the Central City Citizen that's going to start as Iris's blog this season. Like, you see her staring at this photo of the wreckage, and she kind of picks out Cicada standing in the background during that montage when they talk about him standing in the shadows. So she's going to grow the blog into a dominant news organization in the city so that by the time she writes this future newspaper article, Barry disappearing, she becomes like the Lois Lane or the Perry White of news in Central City. So that's sort of what her arc is going to be about, in addition to all this family stuff that's going on with Nora coming back from the future in the drama between them, like finding out why it is that Nora isn't so hot on Iris but loves Barry so much. I think the idea is that Barry is dead in the future, so Nora is just really excited to meet her hero, who she hasn't really known that well growing up, only heard stories about. And then, of course, there's all the Killer Frost stuff. There's not a lot of her in the trailer with the person that they just cast as her father, who turns out might wind up being Icicle from the comics. Even though those two characters aren't related in the comics, they might be bringing them together. I've got a lot of questions, too, about Caitlin's dead brother from Earth 2, who's also named Charlie, just like me, but he didn't exist on Earth 1, so who knows what Flashpoint changed. They might introduce the idea of a dead brother, just because when we started talking about Icicle, people were like, wait a minute, are they going to do Icicle Jr. as Caitlin's little brother that died? But I haven't heard anything about that. As far as I know, it's just going to be Caitlin, her mother, who we've already met in previous seasons, and her father, who's going to be new to the show. And what's happening is New York Comic-Con is the week before that. They're dropping a Daredevil Season 3 trailer. Titans is going to have its world premiere. There'll be another trailer for that. So on Wednesday the 3rd, I'll drop my Titans non-spoilery episode 1 review and just let everybody know what I think of it in general. But they're not going to have any original shows until October 12th. That Friday is when Titans officially premieres. It'll be a Friday night show, and I'll just do as many videos as people want. I'll at least do character videos, but if everybody hates the series, then I'm not going to do weekly videos for it. But if people think it's pretty cool, then I'll make more. So we'll just see how it goes with that. So Flash Tuesdays, Titans Fridays, Arrow on Mondays. So I'll just remind people about the schedule as we do more videos. I'll name a new giveaway winner when I post new DC. There's new Captain Marvel that's dropping later this morning, so that'll be my next video. Click here to learn all about Henry Cavill becoming Geralt of the Witcher series on Netflix, which is crazy. And click here for brand new Captain Marvel. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.